Victoria. I'm a home educating mum of 5 in England. And also, if you're new here, I have 2 children. One who definitely has special educational needs. SEN, I think the abbreviation of that is, or SEN, something like that. I've only ever seen it written down, so, and one that probably has. He's got issues with his vision, but I think there's also something else going on. And I have 2 children that haven't at all. So I'm just gonna, I mean, obviously special educational needs could mean a variety of things, and even if their educational need is the same as my child's, it's a spectrum in it. So just take these tips, like anything else I ever say to you, just take it and bear in mind these are just my tips. You know, you've got to mould things and adapt things to your family and your kids. So these are just my tips for home educating a child with special educational needs. The first one is, when you, because I do it, when you have doubts and wobbles and you think maybe they'll be getting better support at school, maybe they'll be getting better services at school, and I don't mean special schools, special needs schools. There's one in the town that's excellent. I mean normal schools, for want of a better word. When you think that, just remember an awful lot of home educated children have special educational needs, and an awful lot of them, you can just see that by looking at the groups on Facebook, an awful lot of them have been taken out of school because they're not getting the support that they need at school, because they either haven't got the resources or the funding, or they haven't got the time to give that child what they need. So even if they was at school where supposedly they have all these extra services, there's nothing to say they would be getting that support. And look into what that support would be if they got it. I've said in a previous video, a friend of mine, she's dyslexic, and they found out at secondary school. My oldest son is dyslexic, so I was like, well, what did they do when they found out he was dyslexic? She had a scribing exams, and she just was taught English at a more basic level. You can do not the exams, but they're just teaching it at a more basic level, at a level they can understand. It's something you can do at home. So you are, once you know what them services are, you can recreate them at home. So don't freak out and think, well, the professionals will do it better. And again, I'm not talking about severe special needs. I'm talking about special educational needs. Although some people homeschool kids with severe special needs. For what I don't know if that's the acceptable term or not, and they manage it, but I can't speak on that because I've not faced that yet. Number 2, I do bite-sized chunks, regular and not regular often, rather than the longer homeschool days, but only a few days a week. And that's because I find with both of my kids that are SEN, the one that is SEN and one that's possibly SEN, or SEN or whatever it is, I find that if you catch them when they're fresh, before they get frustrated and before they get upset, it's more likely to go. 1, it's more likely to go in. 2, it's a confidence builder. If you don't get to the point where they're frustrated and angry with themselves and upset, they feel more confident and happy about it at the end of that session. My third one is, we do family subjects, and we do subjects where, I'll do the big 2 I'll do together, or the little 2 I'll do together. But for actual things that the child with the special educational needs is struggling with, I do that one-on-one. Because 1, they need that one-on-one. They need your undivided attention. And 2, I did find with both of them, when my oldest son who's dyslexic, when I was doing his English at the same time as the next kid down, the fact that the next kid down is younger and was picking it up quicker and just doing it at a higher level, or was saying the answers before my dyslexic child could, it really damaged his confidence, and it caused a bit of competitiveness there, and it just wasn't nice. So now I just do, if they're doing English, we do it separately. If they're doing maths, which they're both at the same level, we do that together. Same as my 5-year-old daughter and my son who's 7. My son who's 7 is the one with the vision problems, who's possibly got special educational needs, and my daughter hasn't. It's the same with them. I noticed the other day, I do them together whenever I can, and I might continue to do them together for now, but it's possible I won't, because I noticed the other day that he was getting frustrated. She could have gone on for longer, but the fact that she was getting things faster than him was upsetting him, so we might have to do that separate. But I'm going to see how it goes with that, because he doesn't always get upset, whereas my dyslexic son always does. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, give them one-on-one when they need it, and not overly obvious the differences between their capability in that particular area and another kid's capability in that particular area, especially if that kid's younger. Number 3, focus on their strengths. You've got to cover the things they struggle with, especially if it's dyslexia, and then you need to read and write. You've got to cover it, but really, really bring home and really, really focus on the things that are their strengths as well. My dyslexic child is monumentally good at building things and monumentally good at cooking, so we really, really focus on that, and we do that a lot more than the other stuff, because it builds his confidence and because he's good at it. If they're good at something, encourage that. And when he does get upset about it, I can say, yeah, but look at the things you can do, look at the things you have achieved. Number 4, make it as fun and laid back as you can. But that's just a good homeschool tip anyway. Number 5, what was I going to say? God, what I was going to say. Oh yeah, number 5. The law on education, I can't quote it to the letter, but the law on mandatory education in this country is that it's not mandatory for kids to go to school, it's just mandatory for them to receive an education suitable for their age, ability and background, I think. Well, if your child's got special educational needs, and they're working at a much lower level in certain areas, that's their ability. You're still doing right by them, giving them an education, and you're still following the law by going at their capability. And also, if their capability's here, there's no point in giving them work that's up here, is there? Just work at their pace, and remember that that's acceptable. If they was at school and they had a special educational needs teacher, they'd be going at the child's capability. So it's still completely fine, completely adequate, completely marvellous to just go at their capability at home. And progress can be baby steps. It doesn't have to be right. That's all I wanted to say, really. They're my tips anyway. Keep it their ability. Lots of confidence building, no obvious comparisons with other kids, if you can keep things one-to-one when you need to. Remember that you're doing the best job you can, and nobody else is as invested in your kids as you are. And I think the last thing is probably remember that this importance on academics is completely made up. My son who's dyslexic, because he's home educated, people randomly ask him to spell things all the time, and it embarrasses him and upsets him. And then we find out all the time that people we know are dyslexic, and I say to him, see, there's more grown-ups than you know that are dyslexic. The difference is nobody randomly asks grown-ups to spell things. Or say like maths. People go, oh, I'm rubbish at maths, so I just do it on my phone, like on the calculator. Nobody goes, you should have been working harder, you should have gone to school. People don't treat adults like that. As long as they've got what they need to get through life, they'll be fine. There are lots and lots of people, adults, who have special educational needs no matter what they are, and they lead perfectly normal, happy, successful adult lives. So the aim of the game is not to make yourself feel stressing or to make your child feel stressing, to get them to the level of somebody who hasn't got special educational needs. That's not the name of the game here. As long as they're making progress, and as long as they've got the confidence to continue making progress throughout their lives, and not to be defined by their special educational need. You know, they can live perfectly normal, happy, adult, successful lives. They're not defined by their special educational need. I'm sorry I keep saying special educational needs because I don't know if it's SEN or SEN and I don't want to look stupid. Yeah, they're not defined by it. Sometimes I mention Pudgy's dyslexic, but I don't mention it all the bloody time. And same as my other son, I don't mention what's going on with him all the bloody time, because that's not who they are. That's a very, very small piece of the pie. It's a very, very small piece of everything they're learning and absorbing, and every part of them becoming a grown-up, because eventually they'll both be two gorgeous men, and nobody will care that when they was 12 or when they was 7 they got a bit upset while they was doing the reading, because it doesn't matter. Okay?